Hello. Welcome everyone to the third session of the meme game. We're live from the meme CET cave, as always, on this Thursday afternoon. And yes, nothing. Welcome everyone. And I think we can jump into the presentation that I made today. Is the usual session, as always. Everything presented as a little game. It's going to be a little bit different than usual because I want to have, show you some of the results that you could have made just trading meme coins and following some of the hints that I left, some of the traces that I left to you to pick up and to investigate and to research. And so it's nice to have some results every now and then. It's nice to learn, it's nice to discover new things, but it's always nice to understand if what we actually do is making any sense from the economic perspective, from the challenges and so on. So let's jump into the presentation. Here is always tricky. Share screen. Yes. Here we go. Here we go. As always, the landing page of our meme game, survival adventure, because as always, as I said, it's a survival game. You have to be sure that you never overexpose yourself. You never put all the eggs in one basket, because otherwise it's going to be tricky. If you're right, then it's going to be completely right. But then if you're wrong, you don't have any coins to play with. And then the game ends, and then you're going to be game over. So always remember, it's a survival adventure. Everything I say, it's not financial advice, as everyone's saying, but just a nice reminder. Let's start. Here is a quick roadmap of what I was thinking to talk about today. And it's going to be divided in 3 different little like chapter or sessions, let's call them. And the first one I call it school, because I'm going to give you few information about certain words and certain way of talking within the meme space and within the old crypto space. And so, yeah, it's going to be a bit of teaching, as always. The session after that, I call it AI takeover, with these skyscrapers and futuristic skyline. And because as if you were here for the previous session, if you weren't here, just go and check it out on YouTube. In the session 2, I was speaking about Memeland, and I created this like map, as in a game that is constantly evolving, because memes are evolving. Memes are creating different neighborhood within this map, and one of the latest one that popped up at an insane speed is run by AI, artificial intelligence, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And then in the last part, I call it time reverse because there is this little guy that is sitting on a bench, and we can just go and talk to him and go through everything, or like few things that I spoke about in the previous sessions, and showed you that in that moment I spoke about that token, and if you were follow and if you were buying that token in a specific moment or throughout these days, you would have made some money. So this is the structure of today's session, and let's jump into the school. So if you are digging into the crypto space, into crypto Twitter, I'm sure you found many times people talking about PVP, PFP, and you're like, what are we even talking about? And I wanted to demystify a bit of these 2 words to give an understanding of what they mean and what they are, and how people are using those things to run meme projects or to run meme businesses, let's call them businesses. And you have 2 types of approach I mean, you have many others, but the one that we're talking about here, the two different ones. One is called PvP, and it stands for players versus player. It means different traders are competing against each other in a zero-sum game where profit and losses hinge on timing and hype. And what it means, I give you an example just to make it more clear. For example, today there was an example. I'm going to say another way example, and then I'm going to cut the live. Where a token was launched that was called Dreams. And it was called because you remember when I was speaking last time about this new project that this guy Andy made online and created these two ChatGPT bot talking to each other and creating a lore around it, creating a story, talking about what could happen in the future of humanity, what could happen, which kind of meme that could be created, and so on and so on. And this lore exploded. The main token GOAT we'll talk about it later exploded, and now he has a market cap of around 800 million. And one of the latest ideas that came out from this terminal that is called the Truth Terminal, there are two projects. One is called Dream, and the idea is that it's gonna reward meme trader or like token holders for their dreams. So they call it Dreams. And another one that is called Memes. In the Truth Terminal is called Memes. But in reality, the two tokens are launched and they're doing extremely well. They're not called in the exact precise way that the Truth Terminal has said. So instead of being Dreams, the one that is being created is called Dream. And instead of memes, it's called Meme AI. So what people said is like, okay, but the Truth Terminal didn't say dreams, didn't say dream, but said dreams. So people were like, okay, I know there is a project that is running that is called Dream already, but I'm gonna make a new one and I'm gonna try to fight the one that is already there. So it created this battle. That's why I put this like fight of two different communities. And one is Dream, one is Dreams. And they start fighting, and fighting. It's not an actual fight, but you know what I mean. And like shilling everywhere, talking about it everywhere, and then only one of the two actually is surviving at the moment. That is the old one. So this is one of the approaches that we have. Another one instead is called PFP. That stands for profile picture, and it got really famous when we were dealing with NFTs, or in the NFT wars, where people are using their profile picture as an NFT, and that creates one of the strongest community vibe, because you go around Twitter, you go around crypto Twitter, and you see people replying under tweets, or like tweeting about stuff, or maybe you go into Twitter Spaces and you see that people are using the same PFP, the same profile picture, and that it gives you a really strong community vibe. That gives you a really strong sense of security, because as I said in the previous episodes as well, when you are in crypto land, you are always alone. You are behind the screen, and there is really no one that you're like talking to as you would do in real life. So when you see familiar faces in a way, and those familiar faces are the profile pictures, it creates a really strong sense of community. So this PFP method, it's the way I describe it is embrace your meme, gather your tribe, and conquer meme land. So it's basically taking a project. Maybe you see a meme project that is maybe it's not doing really well, so you do something that is called community takeover. So you CTO the project and you just push it as much as you can. In that way, you're not fighting against. Obviously, you're fighting against all the other memes, but I don't call it fight, because I don't think the memes and meme traders are here to fight against each other. They're here to collaborate. So compared to the PvP, PFP is more like a collaborative approach. It's more taking a project, make it yours, and push it as high as you can. As you can see, the choices are in this way. One, you pick a sword and you go and you fight against the other communities. The other one is that It's about, you take, I put here a tiny little magic mushroom that brings the community together and everyone is fighting for the same goal. Let's see what I wrote as well. Yes. Now, finish with the school time. Now it's time to introduce you to a new part of Memeland that exploded in the last days. As I already said, AI is taking a huge control in the meme world, and this control is getting more and more, up to a point where memes are created by AI, where memes are run by AI, where AI is taking more and more control, actually. And one of the latest meta that appeared is one that was not created by this guy called Fabian, but people took his ideas and implemented into the meme space. This guy is a German tech entrepreneur known for his innovative work as AI and creative, with AI and creative project. He's one of the pioneer in generative AI, co-founded Glyph, and he also made another project that is called Salt. So is like one of the brightest mind that is around in like AI creation. And what people did, they dug into the games that he created and they start playing with memes. They start creating memes and inspired by these games. And as always, I'm not gonna explicitly say which games are these ones, but in the last weeks, they picked up a lot of steam. And those are the fourth, probably the most important one. I'm sure there is some other that if you dig more and more and more within the AI space, you will find more of them. But as I was saying, the means they give creators and researchers like new and new ideas to create communities, to engage, and this is the latest one that I highly recommend you to dig into it. I'm gonna give one away. Is this one? Is the first one that picked up like steam and it's called Slop. The other ones, I'll leave that to you to explore and to leave this little cow to jump and pick up the joystick and go around and play in this game. You can actually one of them is an actual game. It's an actual game where you can just go in and artificial intelligence is going to create words and characters that you can go in and play with. So keep an eye on this because this meta just started and I'm sure it's gonna be more and more hyped in the next weeks, because more and more people are starting to understand the potential of it, starting to understand the virality of it, because they're all meme created by AI using some old ideas like tarots or medieval memes and so on and so on and so on. So have fun playing the AI game. And this is another thing that I wanted to say before, but I am now it just came back to my mind, that the idea when you start digging more and more into this topic is like a Russian doll. You know, you find it, you open, and you find another thing inside, and then you dig into it, you find another inside. But the more you dig into, the more you find gems. And obviously, because the Russian doll is getting smaller, but it's getting more and more precious because the information that you find inside is about projects that are unknown to the public. Because if you spend a little bit of time on crypto Twitter, you find specific information. The more you spend time in it, you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and you find projects that no one heard of, no one is even speaking about, no calls, no influencers talking about it. And so obviously the information that you find is more and more rare. The risk is always higher, obviously, because if you go and you find a token that is like 50 50,000 worth of market cap. It's not the same risk as that if you buy it and there is like 50 million market cap, but the potential is insanely high, because as soon as you pick up some steam, then you will see some of the results that you can only hear about sometimes in meme, people doing 1000x's, 100x's and so on. And this is the way to do the 100x's, is to dig in and find this little project that no one is even speaking about, no one even heard of. And then place your bets, but use your imagination, use your detective skills to find them. And obviously use the companions that I mentioned last time. They're going to be really useful to guide you through this fun journey of the meme game. Speaking about companions, I think we are in the perfect moment to dig into the different traces that I left you in the last sessions. Because in the last sessions, I hint about a few different projects. With memes. The first session there were like many memes. I'm always speaking with memes because I want you to understand that this meme, they can be used in communicating concepts in a really abstract way, and they're really powerful. So here are some of the characters that we met throughout the journey in the last weeks. Let's go. I'm using these slides in reverse because I wanted to go backwards. So let's start from the first one on the right, that is Uniax. Uniax is one of the person that I follow the most and I trust the most on crypto Twitter. And I mentioned it in the first session. This is one of the person that you have to follow. The things that he's talking about, they're on point. He's an amazing trader. And throughout these 2 weeks, he made a couple of calls. He didn't make many because that's a good trader. He's a good trader because he's not giving you like 100 information. He's not giving you like 20 tweets per day. He just talks whenever he needs to talk. And so if you were following these traces and following Uniax advices, you would have found ACT, that is an AI related token, that it did 12x. And Doge, that is not the usual Doge, is another, they're using the same acronym because obviously, using the same acronym, it means that when people are looking for Doge, they will find this Doge that is like a smaller one, and it gave you another 3x. Let's jump on the other side. On the other side, there is another Italian guy, Sesame Street, that is running a Twitter account. He has a Telegram account as well. And he's an amazing trader. Sometimes he gives like view about the market that are completely on point and often like predicting what is going on in this unpredictable space. And he gave one of the most amazing calls that he did in the last days. It was like Forest, 15x. Marcel is another on the same level, but the difference between Marcel and the other two is that Marcel is deeper into the, how we call the trenches. He's deeper into low market caps. He's deeper into the smaller project with the highest potential. And as you can see, the result speaks for yourself. He mentioned Goat a few weeks ago before even the AI hype exploded, and he mentioned, I think the first time he mentioned that the project was around like 9 million or 8 million, and now we're talking about something that is 800 million. So he did a 100x on Goat. He did a 20x on Sydney. There was another meme that popped out from the Goat lore, being Sydney being Goat girlfriend, and with this one he did another 20x. And then he mentioned another really old meme that is called Bongo. There is this cat that is just like smashing bongos around, and he did another 5x. So these three, one 2, and 3 are more connected to the traces that I left you regarding find your companion, find the people that you trust in this space. You don't have to go yourself and find these hidden gems. You have people that communicate these gems. There are so many that communicating crap, but there are so many that communicate really good gems. So once again, check these 3, but if you go back at session 1, when I did it, I took a screenshot of my Telegram page, and you could see many more of them. And here I'm only mentioning few, maybe the one that have they had the highest return, but still, especially Marcelli gave many more gems than 3. This one with this little cat, and I decided to put a cat right here because now we are in a meta where there's not even animals anymore. We used to be like memes that were only animals. We had the hippos, we had the cats, we had dogs, we had how you call it, hamsters. We had all the animals. Now we a bit of like drift off, but we will go back to animals meta again. And cat is one of the most promising meta that we have this year in these like meme cycles. And those ones are the one that I just slightly hinted with pictures and stuff in the first session. The first one is Pepe. Pepe is a frog that, if you will see, is everywhere. In the first presentation I did, in the first chapter 1, you see everywhere. You see Pepe everywhere. And if you dig a little bit deeper, like who is Pepe and what is around Pepe and what are the biggest other memes around Pepe, is Apple. It's a little Pepe. And those, actually I didn't check how much Pepe did in the last weeks, but Apple, he did the 2x. He did the 2x, and they even managed to open a bridge through wormhole that you can actually buy Apple, not just on Ethereum chain, but also on Solana chain. That means broadening up the market, that brings bringing more liquidity to the memes. So they did an amazing job. So we got a 2x just following Pepe or Apple. Another one that I used when I was mentioning the different characters that you can select throughout this meme game is Giga. In this like trader, like really big guy, is always in black and white. And Giga in the last weeks did 2x. But next to Giga, there is also the Giga's girlfriend that is called Stacy. And this is a completely different project. It's not attached to it, but it's following the same hype. Because as I said, in meme land, it's not just about, okay, there is a meme that is starting, but the impact of the meme, if the meme is growing, is also in the surrounding. Surrounding, it means the derivatives of it. So it's not just, if we're talking before about Pepe, it's not just Pepe, it's also the derivative of Pepe, like Apple, like the Pepe Clown, like Pixel Pepe, and so on. With Giga, it's the same. It's not just Giga itself. You also have the female version of Giga. And that's Stacy in the last days, because it's a smaller project, it's a newer project, so obviously it's a higher risk bet. It did a 10x in the last days. And the other two that I mentioned, and I mentioned them when I was talking about community and the strength of community and the community, the vibe that is bringing. And one is Rocky and one is Banana Tape Wall. Rocky, in the last weeks, it did a 2x, and Banana Tape Wall, it did a 3x. Now, I think they're back to the same level as they were before I was speaking about them, but still, it means it's still a good time. It's still a good time to get into them. But if you would have followed the traces, like those would have been some of the returns that you would have made. Now, I think it's worth to have a bit of time talking about this AI meta. This AI meta that I mentioned, where the leading one is GOAT, is the biggest one. I'm going to repeat it again. Now it's around 700 million or 800 million market cap. But around GOAT, you have many other projects surrounding the same meta. They are like popping up left and right. And some of them, I already mentioned before, one is GOAT in Sydney, and another one is Llama 8B. Llama 8B started because let's call it founder of GOAT, the guy Andy. They made the two chatbot talking to each other, and then created another bot that would extract all the meme information about them. Said that he trained before the model that he's using for GOAT. He used a a model that was called Llama 8B. So people took the chance and was like, okay, so if this is the name of the previous version of Goat, let's create a meme and run it. Boom, 10x. Act is another, like, I would call it competitor to Goat. It's not really like directly linked to Goat because it's completely different team, completely different community and so on. But even that one, that was the same one that was mentioned by Uniax, if you followed him, in R12X in the last week. Rocco in R20X. So this, I wanted to show you this just to give you a bit of understanding about the potential of the information that I'm sharing, about the potential that the meme have. Obviously, I call it a meme game because it's a game. You don't have to take it sometimes too seriously. You don't have to take it, and especially when you start, take it as for fun. You're playing a game. You go in, you find a name. It's fun. You dig into it. You start understanding the cryptic message that I said. You start figuring out how people are using these new approaches to create communities. So go out and have fun and play. And as you can see, you could have made quite a bit of money just following these simple hits that I have there. And the idea is that I don't want to be too explicit when I'm giving you information. I don't want to like shield my bags and it's like, I bought this, good luck. No, because I want to teach you. I want you to learn. I want you to learn the game. I want you to learn a bit, put some effort to understand this thing, because if you don't put any effort, then it means whatever you have, whatever comes back to you, then you don't appreciate it in the same way as you put, if you put effort. I think this is it for today's session, and the thanks for playing now is going in the other direction because time is now reversed, because you have to keep going back and keep digging into all the hidden gems. I didn't mention all of them. I didn't mention all the things that I said. I didn't mention all the AI coins because I want you to go and find them. And once you find them, you can also tag me on Twitter as the meme sitter. I know I'm not updating my page much lately, but I will. And yes, thanks again for listening, and I'll speak to you next week. Let's see what new meta is gonna come up. Maybe it's gonna be the same. Maybe it's gonna be some new crazy thing. It's funny because I started to create this session and I call it the meme game, and then obviously I'm talking about meme, and then AI came out, and now there is a new meta that is about AI, and now it's about AI and games within. So I feel like we are kind of predicting where we're going next. So let's see if the prophecies are getting right, and I'll see you next week.